Standing between the fighter from Port Kembla and boxing glory is this man, England's Richie Woodhall. The Olympic medalist has a distinct reach advantage and a lethal right hook. Hours before living his lifetime dream of a Commonwealth title fight, Wollongong's Vito Gordiosi was relaxing in the English countryside, playing croquet. Unusual tactics, but then again for a boxing trainer, Father Maurie Crocker is certainly unusual.
He believes, and I believe, and a lot of other people believe that he's certainly in that class, and we want to get him there, and this win's imperative tonight.
The pair arrived here a week ago, only 3 weeks after being offered the fight, a bout that could make Gordiosi world famous.
Doors are really open for me now. I'll probably get rated in the top 10 of the world if I win this Commonwealth title. But if I lose, mate, I'm back to scratch again, and that's what I don't want. I've got to keep rising. If I'm not rising, mate, I'll get the game away.
Although time has been against him preparing for tonight's clash, Gordiosi's hoping his consistent training back home over the past 12 months with Jeff Harding and Troy Waters will carry him through. If it does, Vito Gordiosi will return home a middleweight champion, following in the footsteps of Australian greats like Dave Sands and Tony Mundine. The local lad from Telford, Richie Woodhall, was the man they'd come to see. Even before the first bell sounded, Woodhall had the advantage, both in height and reach. But right from the start, Gordiosi was prepared to walk it up to his taller opponent. It didn't take long, though, before Woodhall stamped his authority. As Gordiosi covered up, the Olympic bronze medalist, with only 8 previous professional fights under his belt, started to show his skill. First with accurate left jabs, and then combinations into the body of Gordiosi. The Australian was already behind on points, but no one, including the Woodhall camp, expected this. A looping right cross from the Englishman that left Gordiosi on the canvas just 61 seconds into the first round.
He might not get up, the Australian. I don't think he's going to.
Gordiosi tried to get up, but his body just couldn't do it. What looked like a regulation hit at the time turned out to be a head-shattering punch right on the temple.
It jawed at his head.
Woodhall had won the title in a record number of fights, and he looked set to be a worthy champion.
I'll train for the 12 rounds.
Now the Berkeley boxer with the big heart is back, and he's fitter and more powerful than ever. Vito is desperate to regain the middleweight belt he relinquished last year, but not one boxer in Australia will fight him. Vito's had 17 knockbacks in 4 months.
You know, it'd be an absolute tragedy if his potential's not fulfilled. And I feel that they're sidetracking him. They don't want to get beaten. Hooks and rips, come on, dig him in, dig him in. Work, work. Up.
It's not a serious eye injury. It's an eye injury that's going to take a time to heal, and I just can't keep getting it knocked, or I'll probably risk permanent damage.
After Vito's defeat for the Commonwealth title, it seemed that Maurie's life would slip back into the obscurity he really wanted, that of a priest in a small working-class parish. It was not to be. Life was about to hand him the greatest challenge he would ever face. Almost alone, he would have to take on senior politicians, police officers, and even church leaders. And he did it for the sake of 3 of his street kids. Those 3 street kids had come to Maurie's gym, the gym that he'd set up in a near-derelict hall behind his church of St. Mary's. There, he taught anyone who came some basics of boxing, but there were strict rules. For example, no smoking, no alcohol, no drugs. And no one argued with Maurie's rules. Each exercise session ended with a run through the streets of Wollongong. The group took their name from that. They were the Road Runners. Then one day Maurie added, "But we're all deranged." So they became the Deranged Road Runners. One afternoon, two of the road runners came to talk to Maurie. They told him about a ring of pedophiles that was active in Wollongong. Among the pedophiles was the Lord Mayor of the city, the principal of a large Catholic college, a parish priest, and others. Maurie just made one promise to them. He said, "I'm gonna do something about this." One of the pedophiles, Frank Arkell, had been a member of Parliament and was then Mayor of Wollongong. Paedophilia went right to the top of the community. Maurie chose to take action where he could. A third boy had come forward, and Maurie took their evidence to the Catholic Bishop of Wollongong, for the bishop to take action against parish priest Father Peter Comensoli and principal of St Edmund's College, Brother Michael Evans. The bishop heard him out, and Maurie returned to Berkeley. As the months went by, Maurie became convinced that the bishop was doing nothing. At the time, August 1992, there was an ongoing police investigation into child abuse called Operation Paradox. As the bishop appeared to be inactive, Maurie resolved to go to the police. They listened, but after Maurie left, they made only cursory inquiries and noted that both the alleged pedophiles were men of good reputation. The complaints of Father Crocker and his street kids were dismissed. Maybe as Maurie left Wollongong Police Station, he walked down this road and saw a newspaper office. As months passed without police action, he made his last throw of the dice. He went to the media. Peter Cullen, editor of the Illawarra Mercury, listened, and the fight was on. The Mercury's headlines challenged, then stunned the people of Wollongong. The accusations were body blows on the church and other authorities who had ignored the issue of paedophilia. When the newspaper threw its weight behind Maurie and his kids, it was almost a knockout punch. The church's defence initially appeared weak and overly protective of their reputation. The bishop was confronted by a headline accusing him of neglect. This was a blow from which he did not recover, and eventually he resigned. There was other damage to the church, and it was clear that its reputation had been more affected by the cover-up than it would have been had the original allegations been promptly and fairly acted upon. The media pressure resulted in the attention of a sitting Royal Commission. Mr. Justice James Wood opened a royal commission into paedophilia at the St James Centre in Sydney and took evidence from Maurie as well as from his street kids. In time, the commission's conclusions were damning of some in Town Hall, as well as some police and church authorities. The mayor, Frank Arkell, was charged with 4 charges of drugging and raping teenage boys, but he was murdered before he came to trial. Principal Brother Michael Evans was charged, but committed suicide. Parish priest Father Comensoli was convicted and jailed. On all points, Maurie was vindicated. Maurie kept up his work with the street kids in the gym behind St Mary's Church. He still took them for long runs in the streets of Wollongong, as befitted their name of the Road Runners. Maurie would take a half-minute head start and challenge them to catch him. Considering Maurie always ran in bare feet, it shouldn't have been hard, but they seldom did. He never trained another title contender. A lot had been drained out of him. He was past 60, and he carried a heavy load of memories, more than most people would accumulate, even if they had more than one lifetime.